Hello and welcome to another episode of A Closer Look. Thank you for joining us. Among areas in the country affected by the wet season, Sepik province was further devastated when a 7.0 magnitude earthquake shook the province on the 24th of March this year. After declaring a state of emergency, Sepik is now a province in the process of recovering as it sought relief from pulling through flood and earthquake. Around mid-February to March this year, Sepik province was devastated by flood. Several villages situated at lowlands along the mighty Sepik River, from Ambunti down to Angoram district in East Sepik, were badly affected by the continuous rain. The wet season, as expressed by the Sepik River people, has affected their daily lives, unlike previous years where the change in weather patterns were usually predicted in advance by village elders to enable preparations towards food rationing to survive the wet seasons. The flooding in the lowland villages along Sepik River has left food gardens submerged, along with important infrastructures like aid posts and houses. Angoram District LLG presidents then were tasked to send assessment teams to visit the LLGs to collect data in order for the District Development Authority to assist with food relief supplies. Around the 21st of March, Provincial Member for East Sepik, Alan Bird, visited several villages in Angoram District that were affected by the wet weather. Mr. Bird then said East Sepik Provincial Government committed 200,000 kina each for affected LLGs as immediate assistance fund to cater for assessment trips by Provincial Disaster Office, along with relief food and water supplies to areas that were badly affected by the natural disaster, which unfortunately included all 5 local level government areas in the Angoram district. A shock that followed for the province was the 7.0 magnitude earthquake that shook East Sepik, occurring in the Chambri Lake area, believed to be prompted by a phreatic eruption that occurs when water beneath the ground or on the surface during flood season is heated by deep volcanic activity along the faults. The earthquake aftermath saw 3 people dead, including a mother and her child at Timboli village, others injured, and houses and properties damaged. Given the magnitude of the impact, a state of emergency was declared in the province on the 25th of March. Moreover, 482 villages from Tunaphanstin LLG to villages along the wetlands of the mighty Sepik River, Karawari, Crossmary, Uat rivers experienced the brunt of the double disaster. Around 120 schools, including high schools, primary and elementary in the affected areas, are subject to closure for an indefinite period.
One time this the high flood and then earthquake come, bookshelf from them, put on them, got something and bar up. So, kind of them, several picking him to more all curriculum material. So maybe back similar again. Maybe found on in stuff. Whether to continue schooling or we'll just suspend this year and I'm stand up and some way some school looks so in the Boron name is school continue school.
Similarly was the Boraka Primary School in Timboli, Middle Sepik LLG, that had school facilities crumble during the quake and is currently only accessible by helicopter. A comfort in such tragedy was the East Sepik provincial government's response. According to the provincial member Alan Bird, during the emergency, public servants already on payroll were retasked to assist ward members with the relief effort. Teams were set up to assess the affected areas and confirm the needs from every ward, prompting deliveries of relief supplies. He further mentioned to have met with relevant foreign donors, stating that families affected need things like canvas, drinking containers, water purifiers, cooking utensils, and emergency building kits, among others. As response, about 250 disaster assistant kits were delivered by the Australian aid, and the national government stepped in to assist with helicopters for distribution.
First, we met with the chairman of the disaster committee, and then we met with the disaster management team, and that includes all our partners like IOM, Australian High Commission, JICA, and all these partners. So we already asked them for help, especially all our partners. Those assistants will basically concentrate on Sepik, the Sepik earthquake. So now we are looking for communicating with our provincial disaster office to establish storage facility and those things. So whatever supplies sent to WeWork can be stored in those storage facilities. Also, one of the challenges that we face today is we are advised that there's a fuel shortage in WeWork as well. That will actually disturb the relief operation, because movement of supplies from WeWork to the affected villages will require transportation, and we will need fuel.
Echoing the government's commitment to support natural disaster-affected communities nationwide, Prime Minister James Marape, in a visit to Engoram and Wasaragawi on Easter Sunday, assured relief assistance to be made available for affected communities in the province as soon as their reports were submitted to the National Disaster Office through their respective provincial disaster offices. He noted 2 million kina being released by the National Treasury for immediate relief assistance while awaiting completion of report on the disaster assessment. On top of the 2 million kina disaster relief package to the Sepik provincial government, the Prime Minister noted over 10 million kina in total is being distributed to all districts and local level government in the areas affected. At this time of need, a call is made by concerned citizens to put aside politics to recognize the needs of not only the people in Sepik but also of the affected areas nationwide for relief assistance as these communities struggle to regain normalcy. Donation drives have been ongoing in several parts of the country, including Lae and Port Moresby, basically to collect relief supplies and donate to the people affected in Sepik. Donation is open for business houses and individuals.
We now take a quick break, and when we return, we will take a look at plans towards the national census set to take place this year. Welcome back to a closer look. After being delayed the last 3 years, the national census is finally set to take place this year, 2024. With its official launching by the Prime Minister James Marape last week, the 2024 national census will commence from the 17th to the 30th of June this year.
Knowing the exact number of the population provides the basis for any government to properly plan and execute its development agendas. As for PNG, after much delay, the national census is finally set to take place in June of this year. The National Statistics Office, as the mandated government agency, will be responsible for the conduct of the 2024 National Population Census.
is important to acknowledge the challenges we have faced in the past. The last census conducted in 2011 left us with lingering questions about the quality of the data collected. While it provided a valuable insight into our populations, concerns were raised about its accuracy and the completeness. These challenges underscores the critical importance of conducting a thorough and comprehensive census in 2024.
Masare said since the establishment of the new Ministry of Administrative Services and Minister assisting the Prime Minister on constitutional matters in January 2024, they have been working to strengthen planning, preparation and oversight of the National Statistics Office and the 2024 census process.
We have also faced challenges in recent times of climate change and natural disasters, particularly in the context of earthquakes, rain and flooding, which can happen during the period of the census. Such unpredictable events requires multifaceted approach that combines preparedness, mitigation, adaptation, and resilient building stages to administer census planning and preparedness.
But despite the presence of these challenges, Masare said it is imperative that the census be conducted.
The 2024 census holds an immense significance for the future of Papua New Guinea. It serves as the cornerstone of our nation's development agenda, providing us with invaluable data to inform policy decisions, allocate resources effectively, and address the needs of our diverse population.
For Census 2024.
The minister responsible said the census will provide the state valuable insights into emerging issues.
Furthermore, the census data will serve as a foundation for monitoring progress towards the PNG's sustainable development goals and other national planning and development targets.
Speaking of the challenges NSO expects to encounter, National Statistician John Igitoi said he has faith in his agency.
We will also still face more challenges on security issues, lack of participant cooperation, limited capacity of field workers that we will be sending out, resource-intensive logistic mobilization, minimal coordination, and lack of some infrastructure. However, long years of NSO's experiences and lessons gained them, various other states called collection activities offer valuable insights to mitigate these challenges in the upcoming census.
Prime Minister James Marape in his speech challenged Minister Masare and his ministry to deliver the census.
Minister Masare, you and me spoke about this in great lengths. You were specially appointed to ensure you have a hands-on, a leadership hands-on to the conduct of our national census. And I want to use this podium to offer counsel. Make it least cost, but most effective census that our country has ever delivered. There's no time and no event that is far greater than the 2024 census, because not to do so is to the peril of our own country.
Marape also made a stern call to all public servants to take responsibility of the census and assist NSO to deliver the census.
And Chief Secretary, you and DPM Secretary issue circular instruction out to every public servant who are paid already. There is no time for you to ask allowances to do this job. From 16th to the 31st of June, you are at work for the national headcount. We have massive public servants in all layers of our government, from Waigani all the way to the ward level.
Over 10,000 people will be required to carry out the census, and the Prime Minister has been calling for school leavers and unemployed youths to be involved as enumerators for the census.
Report to your district administrators, report to your provincial administrator, wherever you are. Every grade 12 graduate in our country who are doing nothing, not in class today, report to your district chief executive officer or your provincial administrator.
give your name, present yourself. You will be the enumerators used by the National Statistics Office.
Such huge exercise as the census is a mammoth task for the government, and the national government is fortunate enough to have the United Nations committing to support the census.
And I'm very pleased to see that UNFPA is there sitting in the National Statistics Office, the best of our technical people working with the best of your people. And this, to me, is exactly how we as development partners should always work across the sectors, bringing in those best minds to support you to do the job. You are paying for this. This is your initiative. This is not a donor-driven activity. This is something you know is important. And because of that, we stand behind you.
The head of the UN in the country said limited time is given to carry out the census, but they are committed to working closely with the government to ensure the census is delivered seamlessly.
We have a tight time frame. So you can rely on UNFPA and all of us in the international community to guide as much as you need guiding, to provide advice where you need advice, solutions where we might be able to find solutions together. So it's going to be a rough ride, it's going to be a roller coaster, but I assure you the UN stands behind this effort and will do whatever we can to help you make it a success. So the theme...
Following the first census float in the nation's capital, we took time to ask the residents of Port Moresby on their views of the upcoming census.
So census, me like him was him online around the census. Only must work in proper census around the community.
All census, osem lo suruki totok lo sista, all census must time all year round. All no can missi wampla house line or osem kain osem keasu, you go lo keasu, you must kisim good keasu. No can laring wampla left out.
Policy must government must work in policy more right thing. So we looking at population increase, population go big play.
Make sure say mogada line must. Amas money stop lo one country on budget lo kana emas inabi mogada line. Walk line na, walk loan market line all was benefit lo sa money.
As of midnight on the 16th of June to the 30th, every single person existing within the boundaries of PNG will be counted. Be it citizens or foreigners, everyone will be accounted for. And hopefully afterwards, it will finally put an end to the confusion on the total population of the country.
We now take a quick breather, and when we return, we will take a closer look at an effort to boost oil palm yielding in the country. You're watching A Closer Look. New Ireland is one of the provinces that contributes greatly to the oil palm sector in the country. The pioneer minister for the Oil Palm Ministry, Francis Maneke, in a recent visit to New Ireland province, presented a seedling check of 324,000 kina to the province. This will go towards improving the yield of oil palm in New Ireland.
According to the Oil Palm Industry Corporation website, the oil palm industry supports about 4.5% of all rural households, and their annual production is at the rate of 12% since 1997. The site further states that the overall growth rate of the industry since 1997 has been 15.5% per annum. The oil palm is the third major crop with 14% of the annual export values and covers an area land of more than 58,000 hectares. There are three major schemes in Oskins, Biala and Popondetta that produce the bulk of the palm oil in the country. However, recently, Kavieng, Milne Bay and Madang province has also been included in the scheme. The recent visit by the minister to Kavieng signifies this momentous move for the province to be included as well in this oil palm growing scheme. Minister Maneke, accompanied by his wife, secretary, as well as the Oil Palm Industry Corporation General Secretary Captain Pupita and his executive team were on hand to witness the check presentation in Kavieng recently. The check was officially presented to Bujang Tabau Frankie, the general manager of Polyamba NBPOL.
Company so they can provide him Yupla seedlings, like make him Yupla, make sure this guy plant them come up. So today me declare him that now 300.
This is for 21,000 seedlings aimed at developing 150 hectares of small older blocks in New Island Province. This funding is part of the government's National Oil Palm Intervention Program. Minister Maneke said this intervention will help address issues faced by the palm oil growers, such as the aging palm trees.
8 tons per hectare. And tamlo through. You can improve in this land. One plant will say you may less. Another plant this palm trees is an appear. Only stop trees number of you tasol because you know have team good then we all low too much. So in the production then we come down. So that is why now on behalf of government come step in this side faster. Come now the planting over the new palm trees or all palm trees. Send him the planning will do palm so that we can be able to standardize him. All plantings blow you mean now, but can improve in production na here blow you mean.
He also notified the growers that the tax imposed on the fertilizers has been brought forward to the government. The minister further explained that the levy on fertilizers has not been disputed by the government as Papua New Guinea is involved in environmental issues globally. Minister Maneke also pointed out that there is no policy currently in the oil palm industry to guarantee direct funds from the government. However, the government is working on creating a policy for oil palm that will take precedence over the OPIC Act that currently governs the ministry. The minister further highlighted that oil palm is a commodity that has existed for over 40 years in the country. However, it has not received funding by the government through the national budget. He said the Oil Palm Industry Act is an extension service act that does not cover for infrastructure developments or any form of support from the government. MP Maneke revealed that the government will strengthen the downstream processing of oil palm production in the country to improve the country's foreign exchange market. He said going into downstream processing will ensure that all the production of oil palm will remain in the country. The minister stressed that the revenue from exported oil palm production is lost when productions leave the country.
Now today you like looking over the business inside the country, inside the oil palm. Over the foreign company. How much you grow I got learn? Lo this company. You bisa put in crop lo ini lo market tason na kam na karengo. This is time and finish. This is time and finish. No time lo ini lo sense him how apa you benefit lo this industry. You must participate. You must own in this land. You must make him over the work so you can see good money. So also now lo me talk also. You me up to you all growers. You will land owners. Look where may possible opportunity today I'm only industry oil palm industry tason. So lo ground belinya you travel lo kisim kakao le nemi no giving you road. Nemi no lo giving you road. This la industry you package him good. And by starting lo road na prisim lo bris na market go na you to go want the market.
Minister Maneke also revealed that the government will now make money available at the Department of Lands to purchase land from the local landowners. This is to extend the production of oil palm in the country. He added that the government will facilitate for the land to be bankable.
Come supporting you. Government is supporting you before. Now government now got time to come supporting you. Money block ground and stuff. Money block building mill and stuff. Money block green new block system blow you and stuff. So if you come forward, then you can make this possible. Government blow you and start finish putting budget blow you from last year and second term this year. Now we continue. You may own up. You may show them something we need them so we can be able to deliver and improve our budget to attend to us growers. Now me like talking about me grower. Me got 400 hectares. No me. That's all me like talking to you also. This is a potential oil palm can make him you man. Now you can enjoy him luxury blow this like price. You can own him, now you can look him also more or something and stop clear. No strong blow you. Even 1 or 2 hectares and we can empower him you.
Minister Maneke urged provincial government to take part in the production of oil palm value chain in their respective provinces. The minister further acknowledged the Maraperoso government for allocating the first 30 million kina in 2023 for oil palm. He disclosed that the second 30 million kina for oil palm is included in the 2024 budget.
What people blow me, future blow me, and me stop blow oil palm industry. Just open up, walk him again, walk more oil palm blow you, now you start looking. Government by come na supporting you, and we can make him good plan. Also me talk finish, policy blow me law industry, and within this year by black finish him, na present him, na legislations blow me and it law this law.
Building on the momentum of official check presentation, the minister also officiated the opening of 3 new houses for officers of OPIC in the province and presented fleet keys of 5 Yamaha motorbikes, a backhoe and a 3-ton truck. OPIC General Secretary Captain Pupita said the fleets will help extension farmers in the production of oil palm. He added that the inauguration of the office, 3 new houses and the fleets are all part of the government's intervention program in the oil palm industry. The General Secretary then challenged the farmers to increase their oil palm production yield for this year.
That's why GMM talk. Potential and stop future. Blow man meri, blow this country and stop oil palm. Me say to me coffee man. Future blow me in the stable coffee. Future blow me in the stable cacao. Why? Because I mean sustainable. Coffee means money 26 times or 30 times in a year, fortnight. Huh? Cacao no cut. Oil palm, buy you sleep carable say fortnight man.
He stressed to the oil palm farmers that through the increased yield of their production that the government will assist them.
That's all we have for you on this episode of A Closer Look. Join us same time next week for another episode. On behalf of the entire team, thank you for watching and have a pleasant evening.